Alright, welcome to the Synth Party. I'm Eric, and this is the Korg MS-10. It was manufactured in 1978, and it's one of my favorite synths. I like it because it's super simple, and it's mapped out so you can understand what's going on. So, over here you have your one oscillator, you have your 3 or 4 octaves. Here's your waveforms, you got your sine wave, saw, square, with a pulse. And you can modulate how long, or you can modulate the pulse with this wheel. I'll show you how to do that later. Here's the filter. And here's the resonance, which shows you how gritty this filter is. I use that filter sweep pretty prominently in one of my songs by New Shack called Detour that I'll throw in the video. Here's the envelope generator. It has a hold time. Let's see. Which you can set a certain amount. Here's no hold. Here's long hold. It says 10. I don't know if it's 10 seconds, but so there's a hold if you have something you want to be precise with. Here's the attack, here's decay, sustain, and then release. Obviously the higher it is, the longer the note will sustain. Over here is the modulation generator. This is cool. This is the different waveforms of the LFO, I guess. So here's like a sine square. I'll show you what this sounds like. If you turn it down here to the, so it's kind of a smooth sound. If you turn it down here, it's more bouncy. It's the square, then it releases slowly, and then here's a saw to a square, so it kind of smooths up and then cuts off quickly. Right here's the speed. Okay, moving on. So we just did the modulation generator. The next thing is the cutoff filter frequency modulation. This reads it kind of obeys the modulation generator here. So you can say how much you want of it, and this is how deep the how deep the LFO is basically. Really deep. So you can get a slow sweep. And then here's the speed. Or if you want like bouncy. As you can see, it can get quickly out of control into sonic textures that are very fun to use. Okay, so that's the cutoff frequency generator, and then there's the frequency modulation. This is one of my favorites. I love making synths sound old, and so this is if you just go like this barely, this is the kind of the LFO. So this is how much we're throwing to the LFO, and this is how deep the LFO is going to go, and this is the frequency modulation. This is the actual tone of the note warbling a little bit. You hear that? So this is the speed. Well, the speed's over here. And this is how hard you're sending it to the envelope, but here's the... So in one of my songs I have a lead. It's on a sine wave and it goes. And I use that frequency modulator to make it sound kind of old and warbly. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to mess with the LFO and the frequency. So another thing that's cool with this is it's semi-modular. There's not a ton of routing you can do with it, and I don't claim to know all of it, but here's the mod wheel. So if we want to use this mod wheel right here without plugging into anything, it's dead. It doesn't do anything. But if we want to have it do something to make your playing more expressive, or do some tricks, one thing you can do, this is very common, you can send it to the cutoff filter. So I'm just sending it here, and let me send it to more. So here's lower, and then here's higher. This is how like wide I want to be able to control this. This is the filter, so, or the envelope right here. Here's the glide. You can make it so it's. Here's like a cool bass sound. Turn down the. Oh, here's the pulse width you can change with this. So here's the output of the mod wheel, and you go into the pulse width modulation, and it changes this guy right here. So as I'm moving the wheel, it's the same as if I was kind of moving this. And you can find different applications for that. I'll show you. I'm gonna run a sequence, and you can see how fun it is to do this. So the MS-10 was made before MIDI was invented. So it has control voltage and trigger. That's how you can talk to it through MIDI. So to use MIDI, you have to have one of these boxes. It's a Kenton ProSoul MK2. The MIDI comes into it, and then it sends out the CV and the gate. And you can research more online if you're interested.